Hello everyone, welcome to my video. It's a little bit too bright because I'm using the window light. It's a very pretty day outside. I'm gonna show you. It's a beautiful sunny day here in central New Jersey. Actually, a lot of people would consider this to be northern New Jersey. To me, it's like more towards the center and the north. It's not all the way out there, but I'm like 35 minutes away from the northern border of New Jersey, so I guess this is considered North Jersey. My name is Blas. I am currently living in the state of New Jersey. I am from the Dominican Republic, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how is the life of a Dominican in the United States. And to all of you, no surprise that there are a lot of Dominicans in the United States, and I am one of them. I immigrated to the United States about 7 years ago. I have been living here since 2016, and I simply love this country. And the reasons why people leave my country for this country are very simple. Unfortunately, where I am from, our governments have not been very honest. They're very corrupt. They steal our tax money and they do not invest it back in the country. They pocket it to themselves. And that is the reality for many Latin American countries, in which the citizens are simply betrayed by the governments and they get to keep a big cut of our income. And I mean, we simply don't see it back invested in our roads, our education, or our infrastructure. It's simply not there. And our wages are very low, and we normally have a lot of crime in our Latin American countries. And I say that because I know from other friends who are Latin Americans, they experience the same situations in their countries. But that being said, I am here now and I'm gonna tell you about how is my life now that I am in the United States. So when I first moved in, there was a lot of self-discovery and there was a lot of adaptation going on, and I had to multitask. I had to focus on finding a place to live. I had to, go like apartment hunting. I had to find a car. I had to, first of all, I had to get my driver's license because I had a driver's license from the Dominican Republic that wasn't valid here. I had to take the test like everyone else. I also had to practice my English a little bit more. And when I came to the US, I was actually happy to be here because I was able to practice my English with other people at work, friends, etc. And also, I had to, have a credit score going. I had to find jobs. I had to, have a car insurance and all those things that require you to have a good reputation, like having a credit score and also being in good standing with your motor vehicle department in your state. It's very important. For example, it determines how expensive or how cheap your car insurance is. In my case, I started paying in the 200s. I didn't have any accidents or any violations or anything. So eventually, my insurance payment went down to like in the hundreds, etc. It These are sorts of things that are very common in American life, in the everyday life in the U.S. But these are things that are new to us, people who come from other countries. These are things that we have to abide by and that we have to get used to. Also, the whole education system, navigating how to attend college in the US, how to finance it, it was kind of, um, there were a lot of misunderstandings from my standpoint. I had to wait years to attend college because I really didn't have the information. I would look up how much is school and very expensive, but I had no idea that I had access to something like FAFSA or anything like that. Nobody, really advised me, and the people who did, like the college advisors, I remember the first time I went to a community college, I applied, I got accepted, I was like excited. I met with advisors, and they simply did not know how to advise me. Hold on, I gotta change this light color. Yeah, I think I like this color better. Um, kind of prettier. Well, they told me I had to start from scratch, and they told me that they couldn't accept any of my transfer credit, and that was very disappointing to hear because I had so many credit in my history that I wanted to bring with me, and they completely discouraged me from going there. So I continued my search, and I was kind of like my own advisor. And I remember that I came across this university, and there was a lady there that was very knowledgeable in transfer students from other countries. And she advised me very well, and I'm so happy I was able to I was able to graduate. I got my college degree. I attended like an entire, graduation ceremony, and I made like this thing, which I had like all the signatures from like all the people who attended my graduation. And it was a big achievement. It unlocked a lot of other opportunities for myself. It allows me to attend graduate school, and it allows me to explore so many different fields, etc. Allows me to find, more jobs. But it was a big thing, when you come to this country, it is crucial to find someone who can advise you academically. That is like crucial. Also financially, you have to know that like in this country, it is very important to own property, like to have a house or anything like that. It's very important because you can build wealth. Your property, you probably bought it for $200,000, but in 5 years from now, it's gonna worth $300,000. So it is very important for people who are coming in to have that information available to them so they can unlock some financial benefits for themselves. I wish I knew that. I wish I did it before because, when I came into this country, houses were a lot more affordable than what they are now. And I'm like, right now, like, damn, like, I really have to find my way in this, whole property market. I have to see how I can find something. But the biggest thing when you come to the United States are the cultural shocks. I'm from the Dominican Republic. We're only 3 hours away by plane, and that surprises a lot of people. They're like, they can't believe that we're so close. And they normally think of the Dominican Republic like some far away Caribbean country because Dominicans need a visa to enter the United States, just like a lot of other countries. They cannot just come. And even though we're so close, we're so far away at the same time because our cultures are not really, um, we have a different language. I'm gonna put the two main differences between the Dominican Republic and the U.S., and it is that in the DR we are a um, in the DR we are forgot the word we are a collectivist country. In the United States, we are an individualist country. In an individualist country, what matters the most is the self versus the, we, the us. So, um, in the United States matters a lot, getting your own place, having your career, having money, being financially stable, Also, being independent from other people in general, and being your own person, and being your own support. In a collectivist country, matters more the us versus the I. And there, it's very important to have a support system, family members, neighbors, relatives, and people find themselves helping each other and collaborating with each other in different things. And a lot of times, all the business that is going around in your neighborhood, all the good and the bad stuff, all the drama, their problems, who can be trusted, who cannot be trusted. So it's like a collectivity. And I'm gonna give you an example. It is very common that when people have a house, let's say this is a one family house. It is not, but let's say for this example that it is a one family house. And there is a big backyard that goes all the way to this park. And all this backyard belongs to this house. The children from this house will eventually grow up and will eventually have their own families and will expand, not somewhere else, but they will start building their house here, another house here, another house here. And that is very common in collectivist countries like the Dominican Republic. That's how people turn into like so many houses next to each other. I forgot the word for it. Um, in countries like India, in countries like Brazil, you have the slums, I think it's called. A lot of people, like, a lot of people, they can barely breathe. Like, there's no gap between a house and another. And that's how they become, in Brazil, they call it the favela. In other countries, they call it slums. In the United States, we may call them the ghetto. I know it's a very diminishing word for some people. I don't like to use it. But yeah, a lot of people build houses within a small piece of land, like the children and the grandchildren, and they all coexist together. That's a collectivity, and a lot of countries, like my country, have them. Here in the United States, I have not seen them. Again, this is an individualist country, and here the I and the self sufficiency matters more over the us and the family and collective environment. So here in this country, one thing that was really shocking is that in rural United States, public transportation sucks, and you need to have a car to get from point A to point B to point C. You need to have a car. I had a driver's license ever since I was in the Dominican Republic, and I didn't plan to drive in the Dominican Republic. And I even got a driver's license there, but it wasn't because I wanted to drive there. I got a driver's license there because I wanted to be able to pass a road test. So I took a road test in the DR, got my driver's license, came to the US, and I got my driver's license on the first shot because I already passed a road test in the DR. And the road test was pretty much similar. I remember the one in the DR was going around the block, was parking, and also going through stop signs and things like that. That's it. In the United States, it was the same way. But I remember that I drove to a little town in upstate New York where I knew there was not a lot of traffic, and I knew that it was gonna be like a suburban area because I don't like city at all. And I passed on the first shot. Um, Also, here in the US, you have to have a good reputation when it comes to your financials. You need to have a credit score. I remember when I first started learning about credit, I thought I had credit, but I did not have credit. I needed to open accounts on my name, and it was so hard to get a credit card at first. By then, we didn't have so many different options like we have today, but I came across secured credit cards, and they're excellent. You get a secured credit card, you get a line of credit, and it helps you build your score. And I remember the ones that I used was a Capital One secured credit card. I paid about $200 for it in the beginning. Eventually, they reimbursed me my money, and then I started using other credit cards that came in the mail. But in order for me to start receiving credit cards in the mail, I had to get a secured credit card first, because otherwise you're not in the system, you're not in the records. They're not gonna know you exist if you don't have accounts on your name. And I'm not talking about a checking account. A lot of people think it's a checking account that is gonna give them credit. It's not. You need to borrow and you need to pay back, and that records. That goes in a record, and the better you keep that record in good standing, like the better that record is, payments on time, then the better your credit score is gonna be. And the more accounts that you have open, the better it is, because it shows that you're able to manage yourself and you're in good standing. And you can eventually buy a car, get a house, get a business loan, open up your business, get business, financials like business credit cards and things like that, and unlock a lot of tax benefits for yourself. A lot of people who open businesses end up paying less taxes than the general population, and it is a good idea to have a financial advisor. Versus when I was living in the DR, credit and credit cards and all these options, buying a house was like out of the question. Buying a car was out of the question. We simply do not make enough money in those countries, like in the DR. We simply don't make enough money to do that. And I know the people who have like a regular job, middle class, they just can't. It's just not an option. It's a luxury to buy a car over there. Meanwhile, here, buying a car is a necessary. Having a good credit score is a necessary. Also, attending higher education is a necessary. Buying property here is a necessary. It's not a luxury like in the Dominican Republic. So, coming to the United States was not just a lot of adaptation, there was a lot of cultural shock in the beginning. People's personalities, people attitudes at work, even in the supermarket, you have to adapt to a lot of things. I remember one day I went to a doctor's office, and this lady complained because we were speaking Spanish. I was speaking Spanish to the receptionist, who also spoke Spanish, and she called us disrespectful to this country. And that was bizarre. And I came across some of those people again and again and again. People who have that kind of opinion. So when you come to the United States, you have to open up to so many things that can happen, and so many experiences that you will learn from. They may be good, they may be bad, but at the end, you will learn from all of them, and they will help you how to manage similar situations in the future. So, right now, I live in the state of New Jersey. I kind of like it here, kind of. It is suburban, but let me tell you, it is expensive. And the property taxes here are very, very, very high. And we don't have the best social services in this state to begin with. Like, there are a lot of roads that are broken, there are a lot of places that have garbage in the streets, and there are a lot of places that have, buildings deteriorating and simply not good enough to charge people so many taxes. Um, Also, I became a U.S. citizen. I passed the test. I got my U.S. passport somewhere over here, and I'm able to travel to so many different countries. That's one thing that people need to take advantage of when they come to the United States. My Dominican passport is very weak. Okay, here I got two of them side by side. I got the Dominican passport and I got the US passport. I should take a picture like this maybe for this video. So I got the Dominican passport. Um, I don't know how many countries I can travel to. Oh, look at this beautiful portrait. This is my favorite bird. I actually had one growing up. This is the bird that is in the new Dominican passport. The American passport allows me to travel to so many different countries, like so many countries. And this is the American eagle up there. One thing that they have in common is that both passports have a bird. I don't know if I want to be near an eagle. I can probably poke my eyes open. But these parrots are so cute. I have a picture of my parrot over here. So this is my parrot. Her name was Cuca, but my grandma named my parrot Rosa. That was there at my grandma's house in the Dominican Republic. I had this bird for 9 years. For a total of 9 years, I had my parrot. And my parrot, she would climb on my shoulder and she would start like playing with these like beauty marks that I have. With these birthmarks that I have. It was like, like poke on them. And she would like, like play with my beard and my ears, and she would like pull the little hairs. She would never bite me. Like purposely she would never bite me. Maybe she was scared or something. But my parrot was such a good pet. And I wrote here, it says best friend, because she was truly my best friend. We had a great relationship. She knew when I got home, like even the way I drove the motorcycle, even the sound of it, like she would know that was me that was coming. But my parrot was a great parrot and an excellent pet. So this passport allows me to travel to like 160 something countries. Hold on.
According to Wikipedia.org, as of the 1st of March 2023, holders of a United States passport may travel to 187 countries and territories without a travel visa.
187 countries. Now I'm gonna ask about this one. How many countries can you travel?
On the website visaindex.com, they say it provides visa-free access to 70 destinations. Do you want a little more context?
No. How about a US passport?
On the website worldpopulationreview.com, they say as of October 1st, 2021, U.S. citizens can travel visa-free to 185 countries and territories. People also ask me, what countries can a U.S. passport not go to? Want to hear the answer?
No. Okay, so, there's a big difference. I can go nearly to 200 more countries with this passport. And I already took advantage of it. I was not able to travel to Europe with this passport. And a couple years after I got my US passport, I went to Europe and I had a great time. I went to different countries. I went to Italy. I went to Spain. I did a connection in France. And I went to Turkey. Actually, I can go to Turkey with the Dominican passport. But having the ability to travel through Europe gives you a lot of gives you access to other countries that otherwise with the Dominican passport I wouldn't be able to access because of connecting flights, and a lot of connecting flights have to go through Europe, and I need this passport to enter Europe, at least the Schengen area. And so that's another thing. Becoming a U.S. citizen unlocks so many different opportunities. You can vote. You can even run for office if you want to become a U.S. senator. If you want to become if you want to be in the House of Representatives and be a representative yourself, you can do it. You cannot run for president, but you can run for everything else, I think. Yes.
On the website Senate.gov, they say senators born outside the United States. The president is constitutionally required to be natural born, but foreign born senators need only 9 years of U.S. citizenship to qualify for office.
So if I ever wanted to do that, I only have like 2 more years to be in this country for 2 more years, and then I'll be good to go. Not that I want to be in that, in that mess, but it is an option. Also, you can bring family over. For example, I brought my mother, and I'm also filing for my sister. But the wait time is so long when you want to bring a sibling over. But it's an option. My sister had like 12 more years to wait. It's not like she's waiting, sitting at home waiting. She got a job at a hospital. She had own business with her husband, and they're working, and they work really hard, to be considered having some stability. They work really hard. Like they work more hours than what we do here in the US. Also, this country is beautiful. I have to say that the US is one of the most diverse, one of the most beautiful countries that I have ever seen. The Dominican Republic is very diverse as well. We have a lot of rivers, like geographically talking about, size wise, the Dominican Republic is more diverse than the US, because the Dominican Republic is about the size of the state of New Jersey, but within that small amount of territory we have beach, but you drive 30 minutes off the coast, and you have mountains. You even have a desert. We have a salt lake with crocodiles in it and iguanas. We also have waterfalls. It's a very tropical place. There's city, there's nightlife, and there's so much diversity. It surprises me how diverse it is, and there are places like in the highest peaks of the country. The DR actually has the highest elevation of all the different islands in the Caribbean. For example, Cuba is flat all throughout pretty much, but the DR has the highest peak, and up there it can get really cold, and it can even they get frost. I don't know about snow. Some people say they get snow. They probably have in the past. They have gotten some snow up there, but they can get frost. And I remember when I was living there, I would look up the temperature up there in those elevated regions. People live up there, and they say that you can't even shower with the water. It's so cold, and that they get frost. Like the grass freezes. And compared to the US, they are very diverse, but the US is so big. I'm saying that the DR is like the size of the state of New Jersey, but the US is so big. This land is so big. We have so many different states, all the way from Hawaii to Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands, and Alaska. You can get to very remote places in this country, all the way from Barrow, Alaska, to the Keys in Florida. This country is so broad, so bizarre, and I am privileged to be a citizen of this country. And with everything, when we immigrate, we adapt ourselves to other countries, but at the same time, we want to contribute. And we don't want to bring any trouble to the countries where we are welcomed. We want to contribute to the country's economy. We want to help the country grow. We also want to help ourselves, and by helping ourselves, we're helping the country, because we're working, we're paying taxes off of our income, and we're creating wealth. Because if you buy property, if you invest, if you simply pay taxes, you're investing in your country. I'm gonna leave this video right here. It is a beautiful Monday afternoon. I'm gonna go out for a walk. This is my neighborhood. There's people playing over there. I'm gonna go for a walk with my mom. By the way, this is where I live right here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Take care, and I will see you in the next time.